Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. So, welcome to the second session of day 9 of this online faculty development program on cloud for computing platforms for IoT application. So, in this session, we will see some of the numerical problems and their solution in cloud computing. So, although we have seen some hands-on related to cloud like AWS. We have seen Amazon DPC. We have seen two services of AWS, that is Amazon EC2 and Amazon S3 and Amazon DPC. And we have seen the simulators like a Cloud Sim based one visual modeler, that is Cloud Analyst. And we have seen iFoxin. And also we have seen some theoretical concept, but although we have covered the experimentation, simulation, and theoretical concept, so there are some numerical problems you need to understand in order to uh, solve some problem related to the cloud computing. So basically, in this session, I'll solve a couple of problems. So you need a calculator to solve these problems. So I have divided the problem into three different types. One is called a service level agreement problem, and we already discussed service level agreement is an formal agreement between the cloud service provider and the consumer, or we can say customer. So they sign a formal agreement that is called a service level agreement. Okay, normally the service level agreement is prepared by the cloud service provider, and customer has to go through all the terms and condition and sign that particular document. So if any issue in, or if there is any delay in the service provisioning, or if there is any terms and condition violated by the cloud service provider, then customer can ask for service credit. So if anything is violated, so CSP has to give service credit to the customer. Okay, so there are different types of parameters we have under SLA. So you can say reliability is one of the parameter. You can say availability is one of the parameter. You can say durability is one of the parameter. So there are a lot of parameters which is written under the service level agreement. So based on some of these parameters, there are some numerical problems. So by these numerical problems, it is easy to understand how SLA violation cost is paid by cloud service provider to customer for not providing appropriate services. So that I am going to discuss first. Then we'll see a couple of problems in which you have given with the two estimate. One is called as in-house server, another is called as cloud server. For example, there is an organization which plans to move to cloud. So they need to estimate the cost required to run their own infrastructure, and they also need to calculate if they migrate to the cloud, how much cost they have to pay to the cloud service provider. So there is two estimate. That is option A, they will continue with in-house server. Option B, they will move to the cloud server. So if there is two rough estimates are given to you, how you are going to decide whether in-house server is better or cloud server is better? That is the second problem which we are going to discuss. Then there is another interesting problem that is related to penalty. Okay, so penalty is generally the difference between the demand and resource. So for example, if demand is more, resource availability is less. Okay, if demand is more, resource availability is less. So it is over provisioning. You are over utilizing the resources. On the other hand, if you say resource is more, demand is less, so it is leading to under provisioning, right? So in order to calculate the penalty problem, you have to focus on two factors. One is demand, another is resource, right? Based on that, we can calculate the penalty problem. So these are the couple of problems we are going to discuss in this session. If time permit, I'll show you other type of problems that are solved as a part of cloud computing course. So let us see the first service level agreement problem. I'll solve one of the problem, then I'll ask you to solve another problem which is similar to this particular problem. So the problem says, consider a particular situation where company X wants to use a cloud service from a provider P. So there is a company X who is the client. The clients make a request to the cloud service provider P for getting some service. So this end is considered as a customer end. This end is considered as a provider end. So X is a customer, P is a provider. And X makes a request to the provider P. So before providing any services, both uh, company, company means customer and provider, company side or provider side, they need to sign a service level agreement. So an SLA is negotiated between these two parties. Two parties means you can say X is a party, P is another party, right? So SLA is negotiated between two different parties prior to initiating the business. Any type of service you want to use, first you need to agree the terms and condition. For example, if you want to uh, install a particular software, so all the softwares are having certain terms and condition. So until unless you will agree the terms and condition, you are not allowed to use that particular software. Okay. And without reading the document also as a user, what we do, we accept all the terms and condition because we are in a hurry. And we know that if we are not going to accept the terms and condition, then the software is not going to install, right? However, here the negotiation is done between two different parties. So they agree to certain terms and condition. Okay, the first service level agreement condition is that availability guarantee is 99.5% time over the service period. So availability can be calculated as availability is nothing but 1 minus downtime divided by uptime. Okay, 1 minus downtime by uptime. For example, I'll say, let's say you want service for 24 hours. Out of 24 hours, we observe that let's say the downtime is 1 hour. Okay, and let's say uptime is 23 hours. So you can calculate availability is 1 minus 1 by 23. So out of 24 hours, uptime is 23 hours, downtime is 1 hour. Okay, so if you calculate 1 minus 1 by 23, how much you will get? Can anybody calculate and tell me? Or write in the chat box. So 1 by 23 is 0.0434. Yes. So this is 1 by 23. So we have to subtract it from 1. So how much you will get? I think if I'm correct, it is 0.956521. Is it okay? 9.956521. Okay, you may get here and there, right? Yeah. Rasekar sir said, madam also said 0.43. Okay, so it is 95.65%. So availability is 95.65%. But if you look into this situation where we are saying availability guarantee is what? It is 99.5%. Right. So if this is the terms and condition between the customer and the provider, then you can say the provider is violated, because it is written in the SLA document that you are going to provide 99.5% availability. But what is the actual availability here? That is 95.65. So there is a violation of violation in the terms of availability. Okay, your availability should be greater than equal to 99.5%. But what availability we are getting here? 95.65%. Okay, anyhow, it is a different problem. This part is a different problem, and this is a different problem. Okay, now you understand what is availability. Sometimes availability is given with respect to uptime and downtime. So I can say a system is working for 20 hours, then it is down for 5 minutes. Okay, a system is working for 24 hours and the downtime is 5 minutes. So working for 20 hours means uptime is 24 hours. Okay, uptime is 24 hours, downtime is 5 minutes. So what you will do, 24 hours you will convert in minutes. So 1 minus 5 divided by 24 hours in minutes means each hour is 60 minutes. So I will multiply. So this will give me the availability in between 0 to 1. And if you multiply with 100, you will get in percentage. Right? So that is the meaning of this particular statement. Availability guarantees this much over the service period. So now in the second condition, it is written service period is 30 days. So here I am showing you availability we are calculating with respect to 24 hours. That means one day, right? But here it is saying availability we need to achieve 99.5% over a 30 days time. Service period is not 1 day, it is 30 days. Okay. So it may happen that 1 day your service is not good, but if when you aggregate it over a 30 days period, then you should see availability should be greater than 99.5%. That is our second terms and condition. What is the third condition? The third condition is maximum service hour per day is 20 hours. So you want service for 30 days, but you don't want service for 24 hours. You want service for only 20 hours. So although we have 24 hours, so we consider that as a 20 hours only. 4 hours, we don't need to provide any service. We don't want to provide any service. So customer agree that out of 24 hours, maximum service will be provided 20 hours. Rest 4 hours should not be considered as downtime. Okay, service hour is only 20 hours. If it is 24 hours, if it is written 24 hours and service is provided for 20 hours, then 4 hours is downtime. But here question itself says that maximum service we can provide per day, it is 20 hours. Okay, so uptime, downtime, if you sum per day, it should be 20 hours, not 24 hours. So please try to understand, it is not 24 hours. Like one of the example I can tell you, like if you take IRCTC site, IRCTC site is available from 0030 to 11:30. Okay, PM. Or I can write in 23 hours format, 23:30. Okay, so it is up for 23 hours. If you see, it is up for 23 hours, down for 1 hour. So out of these 23 hours, you have to check that availability is 99.5% or not. You should not check the out of 24 hours. Okay. So for this particular problem, what we have, we need to calculate out of 20 hours. And cost we are going to pay per day, it is 1 lakh rupees. Okay, if service is provided as committed, that is availability is 99.5%, 99.5%, and 20 hours per day over a 30 days, then we are going to pay 1 lakh per day. Okay, so 30 days means you will pay 30 lakhs 1 lakh per day means 30 days, it is 30 lakhs. If service is provided as usual, then you have to pay 30 lakh for your service period, that is 30 days. Okay. Then another terms and condition is that service credits are awarded to customer if availability guarantee is not satisfied. So if we are violating this availability guarantee, then service credits are awarded to the customer. Who will pay the service credit? The provider will pay. To whom it will pay? It will pay to the company. So service credits are awarded to customer. Means company X will get service credit from cloud service provider P if this particular guarantee is not satisfied. That is, availability guarantee is not satisfied. Okay. So the monthly connectivity uptime service level is given as follows. For example, after the end of 30 days, you have calculated the availability guarantee. You found that the availability guarantee is not greater than equal to 99.5%. So if availability guarantee is not greater than equal to 99.5%, then service terms condition is violated. Availability guarantee is violated. So what we will do? We will go for less than 99.5%. We'll check. If it is not greater than equal to 99.5%, we'll check whether it is less than 99.5% or not. So if it is less than 99.5% and greater than equal to 99%, then the service credit is 15%. So whatever cost the X company is going to pay to a provider B, okay, some amount X is going to be like 1 lakh per day. 30 days is 30 lakh per day. 30 lakh the company has to pay to whom? The provider, right? So if available guarantee is not 99.5% and it lies between less than 99.5%, greater than equal to 99.0%, then service credit is 15%. So you will deduct 15% from the 30 lakhs and pay the remaining amount. But if you found that monthly uptime percentage, if it is less than 99%, but greater than equal to 98.5%, then the service credit is 25%. That means if your band is in between 99.0, less than 99.0 and greater than 98.5%, service credit is 25%. So 25% you will deduct out of 30 lakhs and you have to pay the remaining amount. Right? Now, if service credit is in between, again less than 98.5% but greater than equal to 98%, the service credit is 35%. Okay. And lastly, if it is less than 98%, anything, suppose our availability is 95%, so it will come 95 is less than 98%, so service credit is 45%. Okay, so we are not going below detailed classification less than 98%. So we put a limit that any value less than 98, you will get a service credit of 45%. So you can put different service credit. You can go for 55%, you can go for 65% by putting different kind of threshold as monthly uptime percentage. Right? So now your service credits are given to you. So we'll check what is the availability guarantee after the end of 30 days. Then only we are going to see this particular table and make a decision. So now, in reality, it was found that over the service period. So over the service period means our service period is 30 days. So over 30 days, it was found that the cloud service suffered from 4 outages. Outages means it is downtime. It is downtime. So it was found that over the service period of 30 days, there is 4 different outages. Means for these durations, the service is not available. So what are the outages? One outage is for 1 hour 35 minutes. Like electricity. Sometimes we have power cut. So assume that that is an outage. So first outage is for 1 hour 35 minutes. Second outage is 2 hour 20 minutes. Third outage is 3 hour 45 minutes. Fourth outage is 4 hours 25 minutes. Okay, so these are the 4 outages that happens on different day. For example, I can say first outage happened in day number 5. Second outage will happen in day number 12. Third outage happened in day number 24. This outage happened in day number 29. Okay, 4 outages that are happened in different day. So due to which the normal service guarantee were violated. What is our normal service guarantee? That is 99.5%. We have seen. So due to these outages, our normal service is violated. We are not getting services. So the statement itself says that you will get availability less than 99.5%. So normal service is never violated if it is greater than equal to 99.5%. But if this statement says that normal service is violated, so definitely availability is below 99.5%. Right? So it is asking the question, if SLA negotiations are honored, if we go for SLA negotiation between company X, provider P, if they go for negotiation based on this service credit, this particular table, this is the negotiation table, right? Less than 99.5%, what is the value? Less than 90%, 99%, less than 98.5%, less than 98%, right? So if SLA negotiation happened, so we need to calculate the effective cost payable towards buying the cloud service. What is the effective cost for buying the cloud service? So initially we have committed 1 lakh per day, right? But it is violated. So how much you really have to pay to your cloud service provider? That you need to determine. And that is the main problem. Okay. Can anybody solve this problem before I discuss the solution? Can anybody solve this problem? First, let me know, is it clear what is the problem? Or you have any confusion, you can ask me before I discuss the solution. Is it clear? The question is clear to the participants? Is it clear? Any response? Okay. So if the question is clear to you, let us see how to solve this particular problem, right? So as I say, the number of service period, let me clear the things. Number of days in the service period is 30 days, right? Total number of days is 30 days, but we found that there is 4 outages. So let us sum all the outage, right? So I'll add 1 hour 35 minutes plus there is another outage of 2 hours 20 minutes. Okay, there is another outage of 3 hours 45 minutes. There is another outage of 4 hours 25 minutes. Okay, so if we sum these values, how much you will get?
12 hours.
There is 4. What value you will get?
12 hours and 5 minutes.
12 hours and 5 minutes. Okay. Can anybody check and tell me whether it is correct or not? Any other participant? Yeah, it is correct. So total outage is 12 hours 5 minutes, right? That we got. So now what we will see, our observation period is 30 days, right? So in each day will get a service for 20 hours. So total hours of service you will get is 20 hours per day multiplied by 30 days. So that is nothing but 20 hours, 30 days, right? If you want to convert it into minutes, so 30 into 60. Okay, 20 into 30 days, you will get in hours. If you multiply with 60, you will get in minutes. So what is the value here? Can anybody tell? So I think it is 36, right? So this much hours of service we require, right? If there is no downtime, we expect that 36,000 of minutes we will get the service, right? But here, as you said, total outage time is 12 hours and 5 minutes. So it is equivalent to 12 hours means I can write 12 into 60 minutes plus 5. So how much you will get? 12 into 60 plus 5.
725.
725 minutes. Okay, 725 minutes. So out of 36000 minutes, 36,000 minutes. So it is expected that the it is observed that 720 minutes is my downtime, or you can say outage time. Now we have to check whether this downtime is allowed or not. Downtime is allowed if the availability guarantee is greater than equal to 99.5%. If it is not greater than equal to 99.5%, then that is not acceptable. So how to know? How to know whether 725 minutes is allowed or not? So you know 99.5%. If you calculate 99.5% of 36,000, you will come to know that is one solution. Right? Out of 36,000, we allow 99.5%. So if you calculate 36,000's 99%, 99.5%, which is 0.995. So you will get 35820. So if the value is greater than equal to 35820, then there is no violation. There is not at all any violation. But what value we are getting here? 36,000 minus 725. Okay, 36,000 minus 725. So you are getting 35,275. So as this 35,275 is below the 35,820, that indicates that normal service guarantee were violated. Right? Normal service guarantee were violated now. So we need to charge the service credit. Right? As a customer, we have to ask for service credit. So before determining this particular table, you should know that in which range actually our uptime percentage lies, right? So in order to find this one, simply what we can do, we can write 1 minus our outage time is 725 out of 36,000. Okay, 1 minus 725 divided by 36,000. So how much you will get? So 1 minus, so all of you use calculator to determine 725 divided by 36,000. So you will get 0.02013, something like that. Okay. So if you subtract it from 1, how much you will get? How much you will get? Yes, Gopinath sir mentioned that is 97.87. You are getting 0.97987. So it is 97.98%. So obviously you will get the value below 99.5%. But how much, that you can determine from this particular table, right? Because we have put different band for calculation of service credit. So if it is below 99.5%, yes, 97.98 is below this one. But we are not going to charge 15%. because we need to check whether that value is less than 99 also not or not, right? So it is obviously below 99.5%. This value is also below 99.0%. It is also below 98.5%. It is also below 98%, right or not? So 97.98 is below 98%. So what is the service credit we'll charge? We'll ask to our provider as a customer. That is 45%. Is it clear why it is 45%? Because we have calculated 1 minus our outage time divided by the total time, and we found that availability we achieved over the 30 days service period is 97.98%, which is below 98%. So our service credit is 45%. Okay. So how much we have to pay if there is usual service? So obviously 30 days into, if you see 1 lakh, is 1 lakh is the amount. So you will get 30 lakhs. This much we have to pay if this guarantee is satisfied. But it is not satisfied. So service credit is how much? 45%. So 45% of, I can write 0.45 of 30 lakhs. How much you will get? 45% of 30 lakhs. How much you will get? I think you will get 13 lakh something. 13 lakh 50,000. So this is the penalty. This is the penalty to whom? The provider P. Provider P will be charged 13.50, 13 lakhs 50,000. But what is our question? Our question is asked here. That is, what is the effective cost payable towards buying the cloud service? So for buying the cloud service, we need actually, we have to pay 30 lakh. But as the service is not provided as per the terms condition, we are going to charge 13 lakh 50,000. So effective price is how much? Effective price is obviously 16 lakh. Effective price is 16 lakh 50,000. So now company X has to pay. Company X has to pay 16 lakh 50,000 to the provider P. Is it clear? Is it clear what is the meaning of effective cost for buying the cloud service? Yeah, any doubt? Is it clear? Or any doubt you can ask. Okay, I think it is clear to you, right? So I'll move to the next problem. So there is a calculation mistake in my slide. I'll solve it and I'll send you the updated PPT. Okay, if it is clear to you, can you solve another problem? So this problem is same as the previous problem, only the data is different. So here also the availability guarantee is 99.5%, and service period is considered here is 60 days, not 30 days, 60 days. Maximum service hours per day is considered as 18 hours. Cost per day you have to pay is 50,000, and there is a table represents monthly uptime percentage to service credit. I think it is same as the previous one, right? And number of outages, if you look into in this particular problem, so we found that there is how many outages? So there are 6 outages. Okay, there is 6 different outages. And here it is asking you to answer 5 questions. First question is asking total outage in minutes. So let us calculate total outage in minutes. So it is 4 hours 30 minutes. Okay. This is 2 hours 30 minutes. Then 3 hours 40 minutes. Next is 20 minutes. 2 hours 15 minutes. Another is again 2 hours 15 minutes. So total outage is 6 outages. So what is the value we will get here?
15 hours and 30 minutes.
Sir, can you please tell me again?
15 hours and 30 minutes.
15 hours 30 minutes. So please check whether it is correct or not. Yeah, most of the participant has mentioned 15 hours 30 minutes. So it is correct whatever Siva sir mentioned. Okay, so but it is asking us total outage we have to determine in minutes. So obviously it is 15 into 60, right, plus 30. So you will get 15 into 60 plus 30. So you will get 930 minutes. Okay. So total outage is 930 minutes. So first question is solved. Then it is asking total availability in minutes. What is the maximum availability in minutes? So it is 60 days, right? So 60 days means what we can say? Per day it is 24 hours, right? And per hour it is 60 minutes. So this much minute will come 60 into 24 into 60. So 86,400 minutes. So maximum availability is 86 hour 400 if you consider 24 hours. But you can see here the maximum service hour given is 18. So what I can do? I can write 60 into 18 into 60. So if maximum service hour is not given, so we assume that maximum service hours is 24 hours. But here maximum service hours is given, that is 18. So it is 60 into 18 into 60. So you will get 64,800. Okay. So this much minute. Is it correct? 64,800 minutes. If there is any mistake in calculation, please let me know. Okay. So the second problem is also solved. Third question, it is asking total cost if SLA negotiations are not honored. If there is a violation, if the provider is not willing to pay, so how much amount you have to pay to your provider, or company X has to pay the provider. So you know here it is 50,000 per day, right? And the service period is 60 days. So obviously it is 50,000 multiplied by 60 days. This is the maximum amount you have to pay. So how much it is coming? 50,000 into 60. So 30 lakhs. So maximum you have to pay, it is 30 lakhs if SLA negotiation is not honored, or you can say if normal service were not violated. Okay, so the answer you will get is 30 lakhs. Okay. Now coming to the next question. The next question is asked here, that is SLA violation cost by taking the tabulated data. If you go for SLA violation cost, so I need to find what is the exact availability. Okay, or you need to find in which band it falls in on this particular table. So what is the outage time here? Outage time you have mentioned 930. So I can write 1 minus 930 divided by what is the maximum service hours over the 60 period? It is 64,800. So I can say it 1 minus 930 and 64,800. So you are going to get, if you calculate this one, how much you will get? 930 minus, so 930 divided by 64,800. So I think you will get 1 minus 0.014358, something like that. Okay. Yeah. Gopinath sir also mentioned the value is 98.56. Okay. If you subtract it, you will get 0.985648. So if you convert it into percentage, Rita madam also mentioned it is 98.56%. Okay. Now, if you see 98.56%, you can see in which band it is coming. So 98.56, it is less than 99%. So is 98.56 is less than 98.5? No. So what is the service credit here? Is it 25% or 35%? Service credit is 25% or 35%? If it is 98.6, okay, yes, it is 25%. Because 98.56 is not less than 98.5. So 25%. So the penalty is 25%. What is the maximum cost we can pay? That is 30 lakhs. 30 lakhs, 25% is 7 lakhs 50,000. So SLA violation cost is 7 lakhs 50,000. So we have to pay 7 lakhs 50,000, means provider has to pay 7 lakh 50,000 to the customer. So now the last question says that effective cost payable towards buying this service. So that is nothing but 30 lakhs minus 7 lakh 50,000. So you will get 22 lakhs 50,000. So that is the effective cost payable towards buying the service. Okay, is it clear? Yeah, if you have any doubt, you can ask. So here we are calculating the service level agreement with respect to availability. So there is also some formulas with respect to reliability. You know, we have something called as mean time between failure, mean time to repair. Okay, mean time to failure. So these are the tolerance concepts. So with respect to this also, you can calculate the uptime, downtime, reliability, availability of a system. Okay, and accordingly you can charge your provider if it is not followed. Not necessary that all service level agreement problems you will find only availability. There are a lot of many parameters. We not restricted to one parameter. There are lot many parameters are there. So through which we can make an evaluation. Okay, there is another problem, but I am leaving that problem as a part of exercise. You can solve this problem because you have understood how SLA problems works. Okay, there is a question, sir. Outage duration is the total downtime in a day. Actually, in this problem, let me go back to the previous one. See, here it is mentioned each on different day, right? That's why you are asking the question. Outage duration is the total downtime in a day. So whether it is in a day or it is in a service period, that is calculation is same. Okay. For example, if you sum this thing, it is coming 15 hours, 30 minutes, right? So if it is 15 hours, 30 minutes down in different day or in the same day, you will get the same calculation. The reason is that you are evaluating with respect to 60 days. Okay. So outage duration you are calculating with respect to whole period, that is 60 days. Right? That's why you will not get a different value. Even if in a single day you are getting 6 outage and rest of the day, rest 59 days, it is normal. So nothing to worry. Right? Is it clear, madam? Okay. Whether it is in different day or same day, there is no calculation change because we are calculating with respect to what? With respect to the overall service period. And our overall service period is given in this particular problem. It is 60 days. Earlier problem, it is given 30 days. So you need not worry. Okay. If I say that these outages are happen in each and every day, then the calculation is different. Right? So if these outages are happen each and every day, so this 15 hours, 30 minutes, you are facing in every day out of 18 hours. So it is a big problem also, right? So in that case, the calculation will change, right? If it is per day, 6 outages. Okay, I think you can solve the third problem. I have 3 problems here. And I'll correct the solution of the first problem. There is some mistake in the first one. So don't follow the slide, follow the lecture. Okay, so now I'll tell you another type of problem which we usually solve in cloud, that is called as in-house problem versus cloud server problem, right? Whether to go for in-house server or to go for cloud server. Let us consider again that same company, company X. So company X maintain its own infrastructure. In that it has maintained its own infrastructure. Okay, but many people suggested company X to move to a cloud service provider, let's say P. Okay, so many people suggested you can go for, if you go switch to migrate to the cloud service provider P, you will get better solution. So now company X will calculate maintaining in-house server is better or moving to the cloud and maintaining everything in the cloud or deploying everything in the cloud. Again, maintenance will be done by cloud service provider. That is better. So just like you want to arrange a event and 2 people has given you estimate, you need to discuss, right, with your friends or family members that which estimate will go, whether the first estimate is better or second estimate is better. So let us try to solve this problem so that you can see whether cloud is better or in-house is better. So a company X needs to support a spike in demand. So spike in demand means demand suddenly increases or demand suddenly decreases. For example, in your in-house server, you have 100 servers. So if there is a spike in demand, you need 150 servers. If there is a less demand, means suddenly there is a fall in demand, then you need 50 servers. So you have 100 servers in your company, but suddenly your requirement may increase to 150, or suddenly your requirement decreases to 50. There is a spike. Okay, maybe in upper half you can get spike, which is peak demand, or off peak case you have reached to a lower point, that is 50 server. So it is saying this spike in demand generally happens when it becomes popular. When a site is popular, then only spike happens. But if a site is getting regular load, so more or less the same number of servers is required. Or even if there is an increase, there is a linear increase. There is no abnormality you can find. But like I can take an example of Flipkart or Amazon. Flipkart launches Big Billion Day. Amazon launches the Great Indian Sale. So suddenly there is an increase in the visitors onto their site, right? So on that case, you have to decide whether maintaining your own server is better or moving to the cloud is better. So when it becomes popular, followed potentially by a reduction once some of the visitors turn away. That's why I told you spike in demand. Either increases or decreases or increase decrease very frequently. Now this company X has 2 options to satisfy the requirement which are given in this particular table. Okay, let us see what is the requirement. The first requirement says with respect to the purchase cost. Like if you want to maintain your own infrastructure, then you will purchase your server, right? Or infrastructure, you may require more servers also. So in this case, we just assume that there is only one server is required, because you know server cost is around 6 lakh or 5 lakhs or 10 lakhs based on different size and different properties of a server. So if you maintain your in-house server, you have to go for purchasing a particular server. Let's say the cost is 6 lakh. But when you go for cloud, do you need to purchase infrastructure? No, right? So we will get a virtual server from cloud, but we are not purchasing it. Simply, I can say I am renting the server, right? That's why the cost is not given here. That is nil. Now, number of CPU cores on this particular server is 12. Like if you have i3 processor, you have 2 cores, or if you have higher processor, you have 4 cores, or some processor you having 8 cores. Similarly, if you look into this particular server, the number of CPU core is 12, right? On the other hand, if you go for cloud, the number of CPU servers which is given to you, it is 8. So in-house server you have taken 12, because in future if you want to scale, it is possible. But cloud case, you are optimistic, so you took 8, and you thought that whenever it is required to increase to 12 core, we'll increase it. So nothing to worry, and no need to buy it before, right? You can increase at any point of time. Now, cost per hour, cost of power over 3 years span. So what is the infrastructure cost over a 3-year span? So there is no infrastructure cost, because once you purchase a server, we assume that it is having warranty or guarantee. So up to 3 years, we found that there is no issue. So there is no amount you have to pay cost per hour, because you have purchased the infrastructure. But in cloud cost, you have to pay 42 INR per hour. Okay. So if you are using for 10 hours, you have to pay 42 into 10, 420 Indian rupees you have to pay. Right? Now, if you look into the efficiency of in-house server, efficiency of in-house server is always low. So you are getting efficiency of that server is only 40%. But when you go to the cloud, the efficiency of the server is increased to 80%. Okay. So these estimates are given with respect to the efficiency, but you have to calculate efficiency with respect to 100%. Right? Like whether you use your personal computer or not, when you purchase your personal computer, you pay the full amount, right or not? By assuming that your system will give you 100% efficiency. But we never get 100% efficiency. Getting 100% efficiency from a particular machine, it is really challenging, right? Next is there is a power and cooling cost. That is also cost per hour. So if you maintain your own infrastructure, then you have to pay the power and cooling cost. Right or not? You have to pay your power and cooling cost. But if you are purchasing or you are renting a server from the cloud, so do you need to pay the power and cooling cost? No, we are not going to pay the cooling cost. So this power and cooling cost will be paid by whom? The cloud service provider. So we need not worry for it. Similarly, when you go for management cost, right, when you use a server, you may require some person to operate it, okay, or you need other cost, right, maintenance cost and other things. So assume that every cost is considered as a management cost. So cost per hour you have to pay 6 INR. Okay, but in cloud case you have to pay only 1 INR, and it will be taken care by whom? The cloud service provider. Okay, so these are the two things that is given to two estimates is given to you. One is in-house estimation, another is cloud estimation. So you have to decide whether to go for an in-house server or to go for a cloud server. Normally in company, there is a position called a CTO, Chief Technical Officer. Okay, they are responsible for comparing two different estimates and suggest the CEO of the company what are the steps they need to take, whether to they maintain their in-house server or to go for cloud server. Now there is certain questions based on this estimate. First question says that calculate the price of a core hour, because I told you there are 12 number of cores in in-house server and there are 8 number of cores in cloud server. So you have to calculate price of a core hour on in-house server and cloud server. Price you have to calculate for both options, in-house server and cloud server. That is core hour. It is not cost per hour. So I have shown you some value with respect to cost per hour. But here you have to calculate core per hour. Right? That is the first question. Second question asks, find the cost per effective hour for both the options. Both the option means in-house server and cloud server. So you have to calculate cost per effective hour. Third one, calculate the ratio of the total cost per effective hour for in-house to cloud deployment. So you will take the in-house estimate in numerator, cloud estimate in the denominator. So you have to determine the ratio, right? So while you are finding the ratio, it may be 1 is to something or something is to 1. Right? That way we can calculate ratio. Otherwise it is a division. So you have to show both parts. Let's say it is coming 3 is to 1. So you can say in-house server, if you are spending 3 INR, so cloud case you are spending only 1 INR. Right? If it is 1 is to 3, then I can say if in in-house server you are spending 1 amount, 1 rupees, then cloud infrastructure you are spending 3 rupees. Right? So that calculation you have to do. Fourth calculation is if the efficiency of a in-house server is increased to 70%. So what is the efficiency of in-house server now? The efficiency of in-house server is 40%. So if we increase it to 70%, right, then which deployment will have now better in terms of total cost for effective hour? Which deployment is better? Whether in-house deployment better or cloud deployment is better? Okay, these are the 4 questions you have to solve. Is it clear the problem? This problem is clear to you? Before solving this problem, let me know whether this problem is clear to you or not. So you should not confuse between 2 things. One is core hour, another is cost per hour. Core hour means there are number of cores we have, so you have to calculate the cost per core. In your system, if you have 4 core, you are finding what is the cost per core. That is one thing. Second is cost per hour. So these 2 things you have to calculate. Okay, let us see how to solve this particular problem. So what we have to calculate? Total cost spent in in-house server and total cost spent in cloud server. Okay, there is a question how to calculate efficiency of a server. Efficiency is given in this particular problem. Efficiency cannot be a static quantity or fixed quantity. Whatever you have raised, that is correct only. Efficiency varies with respect to time. A system efficiency may be 80%. Slowly it will down to 60%, 40%, 30%, something like that. So average efficiency, it is roughly given as 40%. Okay. So it is not practically possible to stick to a particular efficiency for a particular machine. It is never possible. So it varies. So this average value we are considering is 40%. So this is a rough estimate, not an exact one. Okay. So if you calculate in-house server with cloud server for 1 day, remember if you calculate for only 1 day, cloud server will definitely better, right? Because infrastructure cost is very, very high. If you go for a single day, you can purchase a server. Let's say the server cost is 6 lakhs. So on the other hand, cloud server is not taking any amount. So obviously in-house server cost is very high. So it is not possible to calculate the cost with respect to 1 hour. That's why in the question it is given that you have to consider over the 3 year span. Okay, anything you are calculating, that you have to calculate over 3 years. That means somebody, let's say X company, uses in-house server for 3 years. What is the cost? Let's say there is a company called XDES who used cloud server. So after 3 years, what is the cost? Then we can differentiate whether X company is in profit or XDES company is in profit. Okay. So if we want to find cost per hour for in-house server, in-house server for a period of 3 years. Cost per hour for in-house server for a period of 3 years. So it is equal to 6 lakh, right? 6 lakh is the cost we have spent to purchase a server over a 3 years. So 3 years means 3 into 365 days. Okay. And if you convert it into hours, so it is 24. We are saying a cost per hour. We are not saying cost per minute. If you cost per minute, again you have to multiply 60. So how much you will get? So normally we consider a year is a 365 days and a month is 30 days. Although we have 31 days month, 29 days month, 28 days month, but roughly we calculate 365 is the number of days in a year and 30 days is usual for a particular month. 1 month is 30 days. So how much you will get? 6 lakh divided by 365, 3 years into 365. So it will come in days multiplied by 24. So it will come in hours. So how much you are getting? Can anybody answer? Use your calculator and solve it. So I think you will get 6 lakh divided by 26280. Okay. So yes, Dita madam calculated it is 22.83. You may get a little bit here and there based on the number of digits you are considering. So 22.83. So in cloud case, you can see you are spending 42, whereas in-house server case you are paying how much? 22.83. Yeah, it is correct. Last sectors are also mentioned 22.83. Right? So, but this is not our question. Our question is says, first question says, what is the price of a core hour on in-house server? So we have to find core hour. So if I calculate core hour of core hour for in-house server, core hour for in-house server. So how many cores are there here? 12 cores. What we can write? We can write 22.83 cost we are giving for whole system. Suppose running your system requires 22.83 INR. But in your system, let's say you have 12 cores. So you have to divide if you want to calculate for per core. So 22.83 divided by 12. How much you will get? I think you will get 1 point something. Yeah, 1.9025. So per core, it is 1.9025 INR. Okay, that is for in-house server. Now, if somebody will ask, calculate core per hour for cloud server. Cloud, what is the cost we are paying? We are paying 42. But how many cores are there? Number of core is 8. Right? Number of cores it is written is 8. So 42 divided by 8. So I think you will get 5 point something, right? Okay, it is 5 by 8 is 25. Okay, so 5.25, yes, right? So by looking into core per hour, which it is a thing, core hour in in-house server, we got it is 1.90, but cloud server it is 5.25. So per core hour, we are paying more in the case of cloud server. So till this point, if somebody asks you which one is better, so you will say in-house server is better than the cloud. In-house server is always better than the cloud, right? Up to this, any doubt, or you want me to anything to discuss? Okay, so it is clear to you. We'll go for the second question. First question is clear. Second question says that find the cost per effective hour for both the option. That means cost for effective hour you have to calculate for in-house server. Also, you need to calculate for cloud. So how to calculate? So whatever cost we are getting, whether it is let's say 22.83 in the case of in-house server or 42 in the case of cloud. So this is with respect to what efficiency? So you are getting 22.83 with respect to 40% efficiency, or you are getting 42 with respect to 80 efficiency. So when you calculate cost per effective hour, cost per effective hour for in-house. So in-house, how much you are paying? This is with respect to core you are paying, but you have to calculate with respect to system, because system efficiency is given to you, core efficiency is not given to you, right? So it is 22.83, and 22.83 you are paying with respect to 40% efficiency, but you have to calculate with respect to which efficiency? 100% efficiency, right? Okay. So efficiency here it is given as 40%, right? With respect to 40%, we are paying 22.83. So we are calculating with respect to 100% efficiency. So if you solve this one, it is 22.83 divided by 40 by 100. Okay. So 22.83 divided by 40 by 100. Yes, many people have written, you are getting a value that is 57. Okay. You may get decimal points also, right? So overall you will get 57. But if I calculate, then you have to calculate for both options. So let me write here. Cost for effective hour for cloud. So it is cloud case we are going 42 or 80%. So it is 42 divided by 80 by 100, right? So how much you will get? Yes, 52.5. So now you tell me, now by looking into this 52.5, what is the conclusion? Which one is better? So obviously cloud server is better. So when you calculate core per hour, we have decided in-house is better. But when we look into efficiency, we have seen cloud is better. Cloud is causing 52.5. In-house server is causing 57. Right. So the second question is now solved. Okay. Coming to third question, what it says? Calculate the ratio. Calculate the ratio of the total cost for effective hour for in-house and cloud deployment. So we have to calculate the ratio of total cost. Here it is saying cost per effective hour, but here we have to calculate total cost for effective hour. So if we calculate total cost per effective hour for in-house, for in-house, it is equal to how much you got in-house case. If you are getting 57 plus, if you are getting decimal point, you write it 57 plus what is the power and cooling cost? 22. That is also going to be included, because when you calculate total cost, all costs need to be included, and we have to include the management cost as well. So 57 plus 22 plus 6, I think you will get 79, 85. Right? If there is any decimal point, you write it. So 85 INR you have to pay total cost for effective hour for in-house server. Right? Similarly, if I go for total cost for effective hour for cloud. Cloud, what is the cost? The cost is you have calculated as 52.5. We'll add additional cost also. In cloud case, there is only one additional cost, that is one for management cost. Right? There is no cost for power and cooling. The provider has to pay. So 52.5 plus 1. So you will get 53.5. Right? So here you got 85 for in-house server. For cloud case, you got 53.5. So, but what it is asking? It is asking in-house case. What you got? In-house case, we got 85. Cloud case, we got 53.5. 53.5. So it is asking the ratio of total cost per effective hour in in-house to the cloud requirement. So that is 85 divided by 53.5. 85 divided by 53.5. How much you will get? So I think you will get waste 1. Arina sir mentioned 1.8, 1.58 divided by 1. So it is not a division. Ratio is always a division only, but what it says, if you spend 1 rupees in cloud server, then you are spending 1.58. Okay. Or if any decimal is coming after that, that much money in in-house server. Okay, 1 rupee in cloud server is equivalent to 1.58 rupees you are spending towards the in-house server. So obviously, which deployment is better? You will see cloud deployment is better, because cloud is much more cheaper in comparison to your in-house server. So we have solved the third question. Okay, is it clear? Which deployment is better? Cloud deployment is better or in-house deployment is better? Or any doubt? Okay, I think it is clear. So we will proceed for the last question. The last question says that if the efficiency of an in-house server is increased to 70%, so earlier it is 40%, now let's say it is increased to 70%. So efficiency is increased to 70%. Then which deployment will have now better total cost for effective hour? Whether cloud deployment is better or in-house deployment is better. So how to calculate? If it is 70%, so you know here you have calculated with respect to 40%. So if I calculate with respect to 70%, so what should I write here? 22.83 divided by 70%. This increase to 70%. So I can write 22.83 divided by 70 by 100. So how much you will get? Yes, Arina sir mentioned that is 32.61. Okay. So it is increased to 32.61. So if I ask you to calculate total cost for effective hour, so earlier you have added 57 because you got 57 here. You have added 57 plus 22 plus 6. So now you have to add 32.61. So this calculation, if I do here, 32.61 plus 22 plus 6. So you will get 60.61. Right? So now what is the cost? The cost is total cost for in-house server. Total cost for effective hour for in-house server is 60.61. But still, cloud cost is 53.5. Which deployment is better? Obviously, cloud deployment is better. Right? Because cloud case it is 53.5 with efficiency of 80%. In-house case you have increased to 70%. So you got efficiency of increased to 70%. So the cost is 60.61. Is it clear? So still you can see here cloud is better than in-house server. Now, if I tell you increase this utilization to this 40% to let it be 90%. Can anybody calculate what is the cost? Simply put 90% here. And can you please tell me that what is the cost for effective hour for in-house server if efficiency is increased to 90%? So take 2 minutes time and solve it with 90%. So if it is 90%, then I think you are getting 53.36. Is 53.36 is the total cost or it is cost for effective hour? Is it the cost for effective hour for in-house or the total cost for effective hour? Total cost. Okay, you are getting total cost. Okay. So if you are getting total cost is, as you say, that is 53.36. Okay, when you increase its utilization to 90%. Because I think when you go for, let me solve here, 22.83 divided by 90 by 100, I think you will get it is 25.37. Then you have to add 25.37 plus 22 plus 6. That's why I think you are getting 53.37 or 36, whatever may be. Okay. So that is the total cost. So which deployment is better now? Cloud deployment is better or in-house deployment is better?
Cloud.
No, cloud case we are getting now 53.5. You can notice here. Cloud case it is 53.5. In-house case we are getting 53.37.
Yes, sir.
So which one is better? In-house is better.
In-house.
Okay, this slight there is a slight difference. That's why you are not able to differentiate. Both are 53 point something, but in-house case we got 53.37. But cloud case we got 53.5.
Right.
So in-house deployment is better in this case. Or it may be asked, find the utilization, okay, find the efficiency, not the utilization, find the efficiency of the in-house server in such a manner that it will beat the cloud server. Okay, so if these type of estimates are given to you, you can calculate whether in-house server is better or cloud server is better. Okay, so there is another problem. So quickly you will solve this particular problem, or you can solve this as a part of assignment, but I'll quickly tell. So here also you have given, okay, this is, I think we have solved, okay, Yeah, this is another problem. So here the purchase cost is given as 70,000 over 3-year period. So what we can do here? So I can write 70,000. Okay, 70,000. So let me solve here. If it is 70,000, so it is 70,000 divided by 3 years means 3 into 365 into 24. Okay, then you will get cost per hour. So I think you will get 26280. Okay, 26280. So you have calculated 268,280. But in this question, the core is not given. In earlier question, we have given in-house how many cores are there, cloud case how many cores are there. But here that question is not given. Okay, so now we'll go for the efficiency. If you go for efficiency, I can calculate. This is 26280 hours we are getting. Okay, this the denominator is 26280, but numerator is 70,000. So let me write here 70,000 divided by 26280. So you will get around 2.6636. Okay, so when you calculate with respect to 40%, if you go for, let me write in-house here. In this case, it is cloud. So in-house case, it is 2.6636 divided by 40%. So 40 divided by 100, right? But cloud case, how much you will get? You are taking 7. So 7 divided by 80%. That is 80 by 100. Okay. So how much will you will get here in-house case and cloud case? Can anybody calculate and tell me? 6.6 for in-house. Okay, 6.6 for in-house. Cloud case 8.75. Okay, 8.75. Okay. So if you are getting this one, so if you calculate the total cost, in total cost you have to include this power and cooling cost and management cost. So 6.6, okay, or 6.65 you are saying, plus 30 plus 20. So I think you will get 56.65 is the total cost in in-house server. Cloud case, you have to add an extra cost of 1 as a management cost. So you will get 9.75. Okay. If somebody will ask what is the ratio between in-house servers to the cloud, then you can say 56.65 divided by 9.75. So let's say how much you are getting. If you say 10 means you will get to 5 point something, I think. Yes, 5.81 by 1. So if you are spending 1 rupees in cloud server, then 5.81 rupees you have to spend in in-house server. Okay. Okay, I have not seen what is the question. Okay. Anyhow, we have calculated this one. Okay. Now we can increase the efficiency to a larger number. Either we can increase the efficiency of a in-house server, or we can decrease the efficiency of a cloud server. And it may be given that let us increase the in-house server to 70%, or decrease the cloud server with 10%. Okay, that is 70%, and you can compare whether in-house server is better or the cloud server is better. Okay, so in this way you can determine whether in-house server is better or cloud server is better. Is it clear? If you have any question, you can ask before moving to the last problem. So storage cost is not having any impact for this calculation. No, storage cost is not mentioned in the estimate, but in real life, storage cost has value. But such type of estimate is not given in this particular problem. See, in real life, whenever we are taking a decision, it is much more complex, right? It is not simpler like this particular problem. But how we do in real life, that is given with a, you can say, very small data we have taken and do it. Storage cost will come, bandwidth cost will come, right? Security cost will come, lot many cost will come. So in order to do a simple calculation, we have taken only very few heads, right? We are not calculating all the heads. Okay. Okay, so I'll proceed to the last problem, which is another interesting problem. So which we call as penalty problem. Okay. So before going to this one, it looks very complex if you look into this slide, but I'll make it very simpler, right? So there are some other mm, other formulas are there to solve this particular problem, but I will try to make it very simpler without showing these formulas. For example, suppose you want to go outside, so you want to rent a car. Okay, you want to rent a car. So for, let's say, renting a car takes 10,000 per day, 10,000 rupees per day. Let me write per day, right? But if you want to buy a car, okay, let's say the cost is 1 lakh rupees. Assume that it is 1 lakh rupees. Okay, and it is observed that, right, you are not sure that how many days you need a particular car, right? If you rent a car per day, you have to pay 10,000 rupees. If you buy a car, let's say the cost is 1 lakh rupees, and it will be available throughout your lifetime, or let's say 5 years or 10 years, whatever may be the life period of a car. So which solution you will choose, whether renting a car or buying a car? Which solution is economical, whether renting a car or buying a car? So it is same as what is the performance of an offline algorithm and what is the performance of an online algorithm. In online algorithm, you are not sure, but offline algorithm means you have information about the entire thing. For example, if I tell you a hint here, let's say I need the car for 2 days. If you need the car for 2 days, the amount you will spend for the trip is 20,000. But if you if you buy a particular car, or if you purchase a particular car, you have to spend 1 lakh rupees, right? So obviously, which one is economical? Renting a car is economical. So similarly, you can decide whether in-house server, like I told you, in-house server is better or cloud server is better. Right? We don't know how long our machine is going to support our computation. Like the machine which I have used during my study, now if I switch on that machine, it takes lot of time, and the processor is not that much efficient. So we are changing our system, right? So if you need the car for a 2 days trip, buying would be much more costly than the renting. So what I can say, everything is dependent on what? Demand. If in the same case, if I say I need the car for 15 days, so how much you are paying? You are paying 1,50,000 for rent. So it is better to buy a car of 1 lakh rupees. So again, it depends upon what? The demand. Whether you need the car for 2 days or you need the car for 15 days. Okay. And note that economic of scale might not be effective. So economics of the scale means whether you go for in-house server or you go for cloud server. It may not be effective, but cloud service do not need to be cheaper to be economical. Always, in order to beat uh, rent against the buy, cloud service may not be cheaper. Okay, for example, I am seeing that let's say a person require for 10 days to rent a particular car. So the cost is 1 lakh rupees. Right or not? So in that case, suppose I want to reduce the rent of per day. So I cannot make it. So in order to become economical, okay, so this is not possible to always low down the price which is offered by the cloud service provider. Okay, so you decide whether you need to buy a car or rent a car based upon the demand, right? Now come to this question. I'll make it simpler whenever we'll discuss these things, although there is so many derivatives and integrations are there. So it says consider the peak computing demand for an organization is 120 unit. Okay. Assume that a company needs 120 units of some computational resources. And the demand is considered as a function. Okay. Suppose you need a computer system for 24 hours. So the demand is not same for whole 24 hours. So there is a peak, there is a, you can say valley, there is a flat one. So it will be vary, right? So if you look into the demand function, it is observed that over the period of 0 to pi by 2, if you consider the whole period is 0 to pi, okay, the period is 0 to pi. So 0 to pi by 2, it is same, the whatever way your demand increases or decreases, it can be mapped to 50 sin t. We are taking a trigonometric function and we are multiplying a factor, right? But we observe that when the time is between pi by 2 to pi, so it is 20 sin t. For example, I can say one price is peak hour price, another price is off peak hour price. Okay. So if you observe a period 0 to pi, so this is pi by 2. So 0 to pi by 2, it is 50 sin t. Pi by 2 to pi, it is 20 sin t. So this is the demand function. Now, the resource provisioned by the cloud to satisfy the current demand at time t. So always the demand depends upon the resources. For example, your demand is 100, but 150 number of resources are available, and we can easily provide it. But your demand is 100, but I have 50 resources, so I cannot provide it. So the resource is provisioned by the cloud to satisfy the current demand at time t is modeled as RT, that is resource at time t is equal to demand t, that is dt, it is a function, plus delta, delta is a delay factor, derivative of dt by dt, where delta is the delay in provisioning extra computing resources on demand. For example, if you need 50 machines, but suddenly you have increased your requirement to 100 machines. So I need to start another 50 machines. So obviously, there is a small delay in provisioning additional resources. So that we consider as delta. And the cost to provision unit cloud resource per unit time is 0.9 units. So with this data, it is asking us to calculate the penalty. And note that penalty is calculated as the difference between the demand and the resource. If you know the demand and the resource, for example, demand is 70, resource is 50. So you can easily say what is the penalty cost. Okay. And obviously, when there is a steady, you can say fixed demand. Okay, if there is a fixed demand, so there is no chance of penalty. But when there is a fluctuating demand, so there is a chance of penalty. Okay, so you have to take this particular function and you have to calculate the penalty. Okay, so let us see how to calculate it. So let me write here. So the resource are in the duration of 0 to pi, because the demand function is given in the range of 0 to pi. So if you calculate 0 to pi, okay, so for this particular resource provisioning function, so it is 0 to pi of dt, you can see here, dt plus delta of ddt divided by dt. Okay, what I did, this is my observation period, like 24 hours can be considered as an observation period. So you have to calculate 0 to pi of dt, okay, and delta of d of dt divided by dt. So as we are putting an integration, obviously you will multiply a dt here and you will write dt here. So you have to write dt here because you know integration you are doing with respect to dt. So if I split this one, so I can write 0 to pi d of t dt plus, if I take delta outside, 0 to pi d of dt by dt into dt. Right? So now I have two parts. This is my first part, which says that demand. This is my second part, which shows my delta and the integration followed by derivative. However, our limits are given in the range of 0 to pi by 2 or pi by 2 to pi. So what I can do, I have to split. Let us solve the part 1 followed by the part 2. So if you solve the part 1, what I can do, I can write it is 0 to pi by 2, okay, dt. What is the value of dt in 0 to pi by 2? It is 50 sin t. The value is 50 sin t in this particular range. So I am taking 50 sin t dt plus, in the range of pi by 2 to pi, what is the value? The value is 20 sin t, right? So I am writing 20 sin t and dt. So you know, if you find the integration of sin t, so it is minus cos t. So and 50 is a numerical value, so there is nothing to do with integration. So if I take 50 out and find integration of sin t, so it is coming as minus cos t, and the range is 0 to pi by 2. Similarly, if you see this one, it is 20 minus cos of t in the range of pi by 2 and pi. Okay. So now what you can do, if you put pi by 2, how to solve this one? So this is 50. Okay. If I put minus, so I can say cos pi by 2 minus cos of 0. Cos pi by 2 means pi is 180 degree. So pi by 2 means you will take it is 90 degree. Similarly, here also you can write 20 minus cos pi minus cos pi by 2. Okay, cos pi by 2. So what is the value you will get? Can anybody calculate?
70.
Yeah, you will get 70. So you have solved the part 1. Okay, note down, if you put, you use calculator if you are not aware of cos 90, cos 0, cos 45, use calculator or you can use Google calculator. So you will get the value is 70. So part 1 is solved. What about part 2? In part 2, what we have? We have delta. Okay, and delta, if you remember here, it is given. Assume that the delay in provisioning is pi by 12 time rate. What is delay in provisioning? Delay in provisioning is delta. So this delta is given as pi by 12. Okay, we'll come to that later. So if I take, this is 0 to pi by 2 derivative of dt. What is dt? dt is 50 sin t. dt plus pi by 2 to pi, I can write derivative of 20 sin t dt, right? So you know, either you can cancel this derivative and integration. Okay, you can go for cancelling the derivative and integration, or you can go for calculating the derivative, again thereafter calculating the integration. So you will get, if I cancel out, you will get 50 sin t. Okay, sin t, the limit is 0 to pi by 2, right? Okay, so let me put like this. Okay, plus 20 sin t, it is pi by 2 to pi. Okay, and what is the delta value? I told you delta value is pi by 12. So if you put this one, that is sin pi by 2 minus sin 0. So you will get here 50. So this is 1 minus 0. Sin pi by 2 minus sin 0 plus 20 into 0 minus 1. So how much you will get? 50 minus 20. So it is equal to pi by 12 into 30. So part 1 is solved. Part 2 is also solved. But what do we have here? Addition. So what I can write? R is equal to 70 plus pi by 12 into 30, where the demand is 70. The demand is 70. So there is a formula for penalty. Penalty is equal to the difference between R minus D. So R minus D means, what is R value here? 70 plus pi by 12 into 30 minus D is 7. And this is absolute value. Even if you are getting negative, you have to make it positive. So 70 is going to be cancelled out. So you will get pi by 12 into 30. And you know what is the value of pi? Pi is 22 by 7, right? So if you put here 3.14, how much you are going to get? Can anybody calculate? Pi by 12 into 30. .56 you are getting? I don't think so. It is divided by 12. So I think 60 by 12 means, sorry, 3 point, it is 90 divided by 12. So it is around, you will get 7 point something. Check once. Pi value you put as 3.14. 3.14 multiplied by 30 divided by 12. Yeah, you will get 7.85. So the penalty for this particular problem is 7.85. Okay. So in this way, you can calculate penalty. So quickly, I'll tell you another problem, which is a little bit different, because in this problem, you can see in the first line, we have taken consider the peak computing demand of the organization is 120 minutes. That we have not considered in this particular problem. Similarly, the cost per provision unit for cloud resource per unit time is 0.9 unit. That also we have not considered. Rest parameters we have considered, right? So with respect to that, there is another problem. So here, the consider that the peak computing demand for an organization is 100 units, and the demand is considered as D of T is equal to 51 plus e to the power minus T. There is a baseline unit cost is 120, cloud unit cost is 200. So in this situation, is cloud cheaper than owning for a period of 100 time units? So these are the actually notations that are used to calculate the penalty, which I have skipped for you because there are so many mathematical formulas you have to remember, right? So I have skipped it. So let us see here. So what is the baseline cost? The baseline cost is given as 120. Cloud unit cost is given as 200. Okay. So if you want to calculate total baseline cost, so you can see here, total baseline cost is represented as B of T. So the formula for calculating total baseline cost is P into B into T. What is P? P is the peak demand. Peak demand is the highest demand. B is the baseline unit cost. And T is with respect to a time T. Okay. So in this case, what is P? P is given as 100 units. B is given 120. And another is T. The time period is also given as 100 units. Okay. So it is peak demand is given as 100 units. And over the period of 100 units, so it is multiplied with 100. So this P represents this 100 units. And this T indicates this 100 units. So I think you will get 1, 2 followed by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 units. Okay. Now, in order to find total cloud cost, because how you will know that whether cloud is cheaper or not? So in that case, you have to go for cloud cost. Cloud cost is you have to observe for a period of 100 units. So obviously limit will go 0 to 100. Right? So cloud cheaper than owning for a period of 100 units. Right or not? So in this case, what is the demand function? The demand function is given as 50 into 1 plus e to the power minus t. So if I write here 50 in 1 plus e to the power minus t dt. Right? But what is the cloud unit cost? You require 200 unit cost. That's why I'm multiplying 200 here. Okay. So if you solve this one, anyhow, 250 you can make it out. So I think you will get, if you make it out, 250, you will get 10,000, I think, if it is correct, or 1,000. 10,000. Okay. So if you solve this one, right, limit is 0 to 100, 1 plus e to the power minus t dt. Okay. So if you take 1 into dt, again you can take e to the power minus t. So if I solve this particular part, so it is coming as t within a limit of, let's say, 0 to 100, plus if you calculate integration of e to the power minus t, you will get minus e to the power minus t within a limit of 0 to 100. Right? So you can calculate this 100 minus 0, you can calculate minus e minus 100 minus of minus e minus 0. So I think if you solve this one, you will get 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay, I have already calculated this one. So you can cross verify whether it is correct or not. So this is the cloud cost. But it is asking in this situation, cloud is cheaper. Is cloud is cheaper? if we go for 100 unit cost, you got cloud unit cost, you got also what is the total baseline cost. So utility premium is the ratio between the cloud cost divided by the baseline cost. So cloud cost is 1010000 divided by baseline cost is 1200000. So can anybody tell what is the ratio here? What ratio you will get here? So I think you will get 0 point something. Okay, if you take the ratio, you will get 0 point. How much you are getting? 0.84, right? So it is 0.84 and the value is less than 1, right? If utility premium cost is less than 1, so it indicates that cloud is cheaper. If utility premium cost you are getting greater than 1, it indicates that in-house server is cheaper. So like this way, you can solve a numerous problem in cloud computing. Just I have given a overall idea. So you can see there are numerous problems we have with respect to service level agreement, cloud economics, with respect to cost calculation, pricing schemes, and so many other things. Okay, so this is all for today. If you have any questions, you can ask.